The Demons of Chaos are the 8th playable faction in Total War Warhammer 3. That's right, we don't just have the 7 factions, we've got 8. And who's the legendary lord? Well, it's you and your very own personalized Demon Prince. Here's the campaign selection screen for those who wish to see it. It's all about gaining favor of the 4 different Chaos gods to build yourself and your army however you wish. And because the Lord is your own, you get to name them. You can use a randomly generated one or think of a name that will truly instill fear in your enemies. But what units does this army have exactly? Well, it's all the demons from all of the 4 Chaos gods. So you will have the combined roster essentially of Khorne, Nurgle, Slaanesh and Tzeentch, but only their demon units. Although you can get more in campaign. That still gives you a massive variety of different troops to play with though. So it's overall a pretty wild roster, which means you can take the best bits of each faction and create a pretty powerful army. You can have the staying power of Nurgle with the speed of Slaanesh, the hard-hitting power of Khorne, and some of the magic of Tzeentch. So it's pretty terrifying overall. As for your lord, it will be a game of build a demon workshop, and there are many changeable parts, all giving different status effects and buffs and stats and abilities and things. You can unlock new parts by gaining glory with whichever Chaos God you prefer. You can see you've got long lines of stuff you can unlock here, and I've been putting it mostly into Khorne, so you can see I've mostly unlocked Khorne stuff here, but a fair bit of other stuff as well, so you can go as far along as you like with whichever line you like, taking the glory for whichever faction is your preferred, or combination of your preferred. So we can now play Total War Fashionista. You can now make yourself look as spooky, kinky, or disgusting as you like. And the second most important thing after fashion, of course, is the stats and abilities that come with all of these items and different options that you have. You can make a pretty crazy lord out of it with regeneration. They're, of course, going to be flying as a demon. They can have all sorts of different abilities. So you can really tailor them to whatever playstyle you want them to have. They could be tanky. They could be a damage dealer. They could be a caster. It's a really fun idea, a really nice one to add into the game. Really adds something different, I think. And I'm pretty sure that people are going to be asking for this for every faction in the future. And maybe it's something we'll see in future Total War games as well. And then you have all of the skill points of your lord, all again relating to the different Chaos gods. Even Chaos Undivided are in there. So again, you can really tailor your lord with their skill points on which kind of god you want to lean them towards. And that god's playstyle will really shape how your Demon Prince runs the faction. As for the glory currency that you need to unlock all this stuff, you can gain it through fighting battles and winning those battles. You can then dedicate to whichever Chaos God you like, and the Chaos Undivided as well. Same thing with taking settlements. When you go to occupy a settlement, you can claim it in the name of a certain god. And this is actually quite important because it makes the settlement kind of in the name of that god. So any buildings that you create there will be those of that preferred Chaos God, which is important for recruiting units. So you can see this province here. I've got one settlement dedicated to Nurgle, one to Tzeentch, and one to Khorne. This means that the buildings will be related to those factions. So when I recruit units from the Nurgle area, it will be Nurgle units. When I recruit from the Tzeentch area, it will be Tzeentch units, if there are buildings that can give units, of course. So there's all that to think about if you want to recruit certain units and build your army in a certain way. As I say, you can take the best bits of all factions, so there's going to be some thinking involved in which settlements you dedicate to who. But of course, you also want to put the glory into whichever Chaos God you want to unlock stuff for. So there's going to be a fair bit of planning involved, but ultimately it's all about just gathering that glory for whichever Chaos God you like. And the ultimate victory conditions are the same as they are for any other faction. Go into the Chaos Realms, retrieve the souls, etc. Or complete domination, take out all the big factions on the map. So that's pretty much the gist of the campaign. Let's finish up on a battle, shall we? I've got my Demons of Chaos army ready to fight some Kislev over yonder. I put together a pretty crazy army just of all kinds of units just to show them off rather than this being an actual useful build because it's a little crazy, but that's kind of the fun of the Demons of Chaos. You can put together some wacky combinations of all the different gods' best stuff. So we approach the Kislev army. It's a lot of Kossars. There's some armored Kossars in there. They've got an elemental bear. Got a bit of skirmish cav, got some Streltsy, so they've got some strong units in there. Whether it'll be a match for our big boys of Chaos, we shall see. They are a bit depleted as well. They've taken some attrition from something, so this should be a fairly comfortable win, but we'll go in all the same. We've got some Seekers on the right of Slaanesh. Very fast cavalry. Got some Plague Drones. We'll keep them out of the way for now. They might get shot up a bit too quick. Going to try and get into the front line with all of my tough damage dealer boys. I've got some Khorne Bloodletters and dual weapon Chaos Warriors, so a hard-hitting front line. Got some Plague Bearers bringing up the rear as well. They're pretty slow, so they'll catch up eventually and be able to get into something. Just got to try and disrupt all these missiles as quickly as I can. If we let Kislev use all their missiles, it's going to be pretty bad for us. Going to get this stuff coming in on the right. Got some Warhounds there as well with my Seekers. Plague Bearers are coming slowly but surely. They do look like I've kind of left them behind, but they are just very slowly making their way over. Come on, lads. They kind of look like mini trolls. They'll get there. So this is just a fairly simple rushy kind of army. Got a few ranged units in there with some blue and pink horrors. They'll do a bit of work. Some cavalry has come in and messed up my line. Gonna get a nice charge with these boys though. Dual weapon Chaos Warriors. Very hard-hitting damage dealer type infantry. Better against less armored stuff than they are those big heavy armored boys, but let's see if we can break through with our cav type boys. I got these Warhounds and Slaanesh Seekers on the right. Let's see if we can break through with them. Try and get behind the enemy lines, hit that hammer and anvil. It's all a bit of a crazy mess, this one. Trying to stop those units from firing as quickly as I can. That is one of the strengths of Kislev. They do have missiles all over the place. So you've got to try and shut them down. Otherwise, they're just going to blast you down. But I do believe as well that the Demons of Chaos faction will be in multiplayer as well. So that's going to be a pretty tricky faction to deal with. They're going to have a lot of different options, a lot of different possibilities that you might see. So it's going to be a hard army to build against, perhaps. We'll have to see. I haven't played too much multiplayer yet. I've only played a little bit, and, you know, it's going to take a good few games to really get a feel of all these factions and to see what people do with the factions, to see what cheese people come up with the factions and how we can counter that. And there's going to be a lot to work out, and it's going to take some balancing. Units are likely going to be unbalanced at first because there's no kind of mass testing of everything. So until Quick Battles has been played a bunch and we've played a lot of multiplayer on streams and things, and we start to get an idea of all these factions and how they really perform, who's strong, who's weak, who's got the best units, who's got the worst units. It's going to be exciting to find this all out and see how it goes. And then later down the line, we're going to have all that, adding all the Warhammer 2 factions in. And then how that's going to mess with things. Are the Empire going to stand any chance against any of these factions? Will the Dwarfs be OP somehow? Who knows? It's going to be exciting to see though, but Demons of Chaos certainly adding something different to the franchise with a faction that is a mixture of a bunch of other factions. And like I said, the whole create a demon, build a demon lord thing is really cool, and I think it could be really fun to have that and to allow you to create your own kind of stories a bit more if you could create a character on any faction. Let me make a Kislev lord and design him and have a character builder for that, or a dwarf lord, or a greenskin lord, whoever. Some really nice improvements, some really nice ideas coming to Warhammer 3, so excited for everyone to get their hands on it and see what everyone thinks. I personally have been enjoying it very, very much. And if you haven't heard already, another big thing coming to Warhammer 3, 8-player co-op campaigns. That's right, 8-player co-op campaigns. It is, however, not the same as a regular campaign that you normally play. It is kind of a smaller mini campaign for the 8 players, and interestingly, all turns can be played, if you want to, at the same time. You can have simultaneous turns, so everyone is all playing their turn at once. So of course, that saves a lot of time. There is still battles to be fought and things like that, but you can put it to only auto-resolve if you like. But yes, very interesting to see how that plays out. We'll play some of those on stream. It's going to be pretty crazy. I'm pretty sure people are going to love it. Again, another nice new advancement for the Total War series with something like that as well. Anyway, this battle is pretty much wrapped up. We've pretty much got Kislev done for. So I hope you've enjoyed this. Thanks for watching. I'll leave you on the last few bits of this battle. I will see you in the future.